I have your attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, well, hello, 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 and welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to welcome you guys to the Pulse of Poetry. I am Angela, the visionary. Tonight, I am excited because we have our new poet of the year. On behalf of Aspiring Authors Magazine, she is the amazing host of this show, and I am truly, truly honored to have her in the building tonight and to have her a part of this network to be able to provide a space for poets. And if you're out there and you're looking for an opportunity, you need to get in touch with this queen so she can allow you to get heard and seen. Welcome, Marcine. Welcome,
Hi,
welcome, welcome. How
hi.
are you?
I'm great. I'm here. That makes it good, right?
Any day on this side is always a good day, I must say. I
Yes.
must say, I must say. Well, I'm going to move on out the way and give you an opportunity to have your way and to utilize your platform. So I'm going to get on out the way and let you do what you do. Boo, boo. Here you go.
Okay. Thank you again, Miss Angela, and thank you everybody who nominated and voted for me to be Poet of the Year. So, with my love for poetry, I like to bring two DFW poets to you all. I have Phoenix Sapphire and Roses that will be sharing the podcast with me today. So, I'd like to bring them up. Hi.
Hello, hello.
Hello, my fellow poet and poetess. How are you?
I'm good.
So,
I'm
Nervous.
doing
good. What about you, Roses? You came in.
I'm doing good as well. I'm doing good. Excited.
Okay. I'm glad you guys are here with me to help me start my inaugural podcast. So, we'll start with ladies first, if you don't mind. Could you just give us a little background? And we'll go from Roses to me, from Phoenix Sapphire to Roses. Just give a little bio and a background about you so our audience will know a little bit about you.
Okay. So I am Sapphire, Phoenix Sapphire. I am a poet and an entrepreneur. Um, my first poem was published back when I was 13 and did um what was it? A contest. Sorry, I got a little nervous. I don't know, when it comes to my poetry and I have a poem I'm going to share if opportunity arises that talks about my nervousness and my nerves when it comes to my poetry and the vulnerability of writing poetry. So just I work with artists in the city, and that's really all I want to say about me. Let's move on to Roses.
Okay, you had a floor, Roses.
All right. My name is Roses. I'm the founder and CEO of Sculpted Roses Company. So I'm a business owner and I'm also the chapter leader of Texas for the Poetry Business Network. And I'm an author, I'm a writer, an artist, and a lover of cinema and fashion. And I try to kind of dip my hands into different areas and pots and kind of diversify with what's best for my brand and who I am. I can definitely relate to you, Phoenix. I'm very much an introvert, but I felt called
Mhm.
to the stage as a way to kind of share my testimony and story. And so against what I like to do, I usually go up and get on stage and share some poetry and be vulnerable. And so,
That's
yeah, that's
beautiful.
my style.
And isn't that the hardest part of being a poet? Because I think a lot of us are kind of, I can't say for myself. I'm introverted, but I'm introvert extrovert.
Mm.
Um,
Hmm.
and the thing about being a poet, we have to be vulnerable, right? So I'm gonna ask you guys. So how do you handle the privacy? Balancing being private and vulnerable when putting your poetry out there.
Mm. um, well, in my poetry, I don't care about vulnerability. It doesn't matter. When I'm speaking to someone and there's not 100 eyes or even 20 eyes on me, it flows easy. When I feel a lot of people are going to judge what I'm going to say, or I've had poems that I've written because I speak a lot about consciousness where friends have like, this isn't the right environment to speak about that in. And so it's one of those things where you just have to be free to be yourself and flow in who you are, um, and just let it be what it is.
Right. About
Yeah,
you, Roses.
I definitely agree with that. And I would say, when I'm on the stage or writing poetry, it's the one place I can truly be myself and be 100% vulnerable to the best of my ability. And I try to challenge myself. If there's something that comes to my mind or when I'm writing that I feel like, I don't know if I want to share that, I try to push myself to share it, because I want to be 100% genuine and I want to share my story. And because also you never know who else is going through the same thing that is still silent and they're not able to say it. So if I can say it and it can help someone else, all the more reason to share it. And but if it's not poetry, I'm I'm a closed door pretty much, unless you're close to me and you're in my little circle, then I'll share some stuff here and there. But outside of poetry, I'm pretty shut.
My truth easily, going in those words that I wrote, because I'll mainly write when I'm going through something or something sits on my spirit really strong. I'll go and I'll pour it out on paper. So as I was growing up, writing from being back in middle school, it was something that was just for me. I would write it and I would leave it there. So as my words and connecting with people started to resonate, and I did my poetry for a couple of friends here and there, and they say, "Oh, you need to get on stage, you need to share that." It just gives me the chills when I do it, and so I'm still very nervous about it. So it's the opposite for me. I can share, but getting up there and reading those words, it's so close to my heart that it's difficult at times.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's nerve wracking your first time doing it, but
Every
you have to be authentic to yourself because, like Roses pointed out, which was a very valid point, is you give voice to people who may not have the courage to give voice or who may not can articulate what they want to say, right? Um, like you said, Phoenix, I find myself writing at times when I'm emotional or I'm experiencing
time.
something and it just comes. I don't know how you guys get your inspiration, but it's like when mine comes in waves, I have to stop whatever I'm doing, wherever I'm at, and just write, even if it's not a complete poem. Do you guys find yourself experiencing that? Where you just had to write to get your words out, to get those
Mhm.
thoughts out before you lose them to the universe?
I definitely
You're right.
agree with that. Yes.
Yes, most definitely. I have multiple categorized notes for writing. Then I have small notebooks that I keep on hand because I like to handwrite stuff too in my pocket. And so I'm always, stuff will just come and I got to jot it down. And there's been plenty of times where I say, okay, I'll remember it, and usually don't, and then I'm mad at myself. So,
Yep.
yes, you got to write it down right away.
I forgot the most important question. What are you guys' genre? What do you write about? What is your main genre? And how did you get your stage name? That's something yet I have to find.
Okay, you want me to go first?
Ladies first.
Phoenix.
Yes, ladies
Okay,
first.
okay. So Sapphire was first. She came from, I was going through a divorce and everything, and I didn't want, my mom was like, keep your kid's last name. But I was at a place where I was being renewed and I didn't want that last name. And I was just looking for something else to call myself. I started calling myself Amber Sapphire at that time.
Mhm.
Phoenix, my kids, we were going through a lot, and I don't know. They called me on the phone and they were telling me something that happened, and I said I felt like we were overcoming so many things back to back, and I was like, I feel like there's fire flowing through my veins. And my daughters were like, they called me Phoenix, and their friends started calling me Phoenix, and that's where Phoenix Sapphire came from.
You
um
know, I love a phoenix. You know, I love a phoenix. It's close to my heart.
Yeah, it's rising from the ashes. And,
Yes.
as I've elevated, I kind of don't go by that name so much anymore, but it is how people know me. But I got used to standing in those ashes and that fire, and I don't care if anything's burned down. I'd rather be sad today so that I can be peaceful tomorrow. And I want to
Right.
face things, and I have this strength that I don't think a lot of people are used to. So I I don't wanna stand in ashes, I don't wanna burn things down, but the rising, you get addicted to the pain, or the ability to overcome pain,
Right.
and I'll stop there. In my, genre of poetry, I really don't think that, I would say that I flow towards consciousness, but I don't know what genre that would fall in, or the right way to say it, but,
That's
awakening,
fine.
is that a genre?
Mhm. Consciousness, spiritually aware. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that would be mine.
All right. Okay,
Okay.
Roses. I hear your name. How you got that?
So I got my name. So I love the artistic side of me loves floral print and flowers, anything like that. And my favorite is a rose, and so I've always collected rose stuff. As you can see, my shirt, it's got roses all over it. I got roses behind me. Anything that has roses, I'm gonna get it. And because they don't make a lot of rose stuff for guys, so if I find it in my size, especially, I'm gonna get it. But when I used to go by the name Postscript for all my poetry, and that is where the PS comes from, which is my signature ending. For every poem, I ended in a PS. And when I created my business, I wanted something that can encompass the umbrella of all my different passions. So, art, life coaching, and writing, and public speaking, and anything else. And so, when I was trying to come up with a new name, creative name, Roses was definitely one of the top picks for me. And I'll never forget this. I was kind of like praying about it and talking to God on what I should do. And I was out serving in the community and we were giving food away. And in front of me was this um, little thing of cupcakes. And there are seven cupcakes in there. And seven is the number of completion. And I had seven in my head a lot during that time and season. And the top of the cupcakes looked like roses. And so I was like, there it is. That's what it's gonna be. And so I go by Roses, and then my business is called Sculpted Roses Company, and that's how that kind of just all meshed together. But I love roses, and so it felt natural. And I guess for genre, I write a lot about faith, mental health, and romance. I write the most about romance.
Oh, romance. Yes, I've heard your. I've had the privilege for those who are watching you. I've had the privilege to see Roses. We were in the Oscars together, which in Dallas is like the spoken Oscars, and I've also um, watched him perform. I've also had the privilege of seeing Phoenix Sapphire perform. Awesome, awesome. Now we are going to let them bless us with some poetry in a little bit while we just kicking back and just talking about our poetry right now and being a poet and some of the I guess not obstacles, but it's also victories and being a poet. I guess my next question would be, like everyone, when you have blocks, what do you do to restart? Because we all go through times when we have writer's blocks. That's what it is, or your creativity stifled because something's going on in your life. How do you guys reset, rejuvenate, restart?
I guess it would just be energy is how I would answer. It took me a long time to start back writing poetry when a lot of what I had written was destroyed. So I still will go through moments of writer's block, be- but I write what comes to me. I don't force it. So if I'm in a season where I'm not writing too much, then I'm okay with that. And then I'll have, like you said earlier, like the little pieces of things that I'll go back to when I'm in that energy, and it'll just be little notes in my phone or my notebooks.
Okay. I think for me, uh, in order to reset, I go to my first. I isolate because I'm an introvert, so I have to get time alone to think, process, and reset. And so I'll do that by going to the movies because I love watching movies, and it's also a place where I draw inspiration. Or I like to walk around the mall and shop or window shop. And I'll just open up my notes app, listen to some music, and I'll try to go through some stuff that I started and see what catches my mind and kind of continue on from there. Um, and I also like going to art museums. As an
Mm,
artist, I love just kind of decompressing into the world of another artist and trying to figure out what they were trying to say within the piece that they created, and just noticing the different techniques and details. Um, it really puts me in awe, and it's a big reset button for me. And so I would say
yeah,
those two definitely.
yeah. That's kind of like me. I have to, when I'm facing a huge writer's block, which I went through recently, I guess back in the fall. I have to disassociate. I just have to unplug and just have complete silence and quiet, because your mind it's like a mini computer, and so that's how I reset. Now shopping, I'm with you on that, Roses, but I think I have a problem. I like to shop, but I'm with you. I'm with you on resetting on that. Um, but yeah, writing is something else, and I know both of you guys have worked on books, and for me, that kind of made me shut down when it got in after I'm done the editing process. That is my least favorite part of writing. What about you all? The editing, Lord.
I'm still in that process. So I just finished my book not too long ago. So it's still in the process of being edited and getting ready to go. So I'm not enjoying it that much, but it's okay.
Please tell us the name of your book.
It's
Please.
Awakening to Reality.
Okay, and your poems. Wait, do you have some of your poetry from the book with
I
you, or
do. I have it on my phone. Um,
okay?
why? Do you want me to read right now?
Uh,
Are you putting me on the spot?
I might be put. I'm putting you on. You're gonna be put on the spot twice. But
Okay.
yeah, if you want to pull one up, and then we can go to Roses so he can answer the question too about the editing. Because, like I said, that is not my favorite part.
Okay, hold on one
By
second
far.
'cause I closed it.
And I'm sorry if my editor's on here because normally she watches. You know I don't like that part. That's like having a baby to me. You right there, Roses. I'm,
Yes, I completely agree. I strongly dislike editing. I was about to say hate, but I was like, let me not. I'm not gonna say hate, but I strongly dislike editing. It's by far my least favorite part, and I want nothing to do with it. I just want to write. I want to get my thoughts out there. I want to have it organized and broken up the way I want to, and then maybe add some art here and there, and then I just want to push the editing to the
Right.
side for someone else.
right. I think that's with all the creators, right? We're like, why we have to do this part? Because that's my fight every time with my editor Joy. Because I'm like, don't move those dots because we don't have to be so formal when we write poetry and prose.
Right.
I'm like, I know what I'm thinking and I know what I wrote. And when I do dot dot dot, that means I'm continuing my thought because that
Right.
means for the
The
reason.
dot 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 has a meaning.
Yep. Yep.
It
Right, but
definitely
not
does.
to our editors. Not to our editors. It's like, what? What is this? No, no. Dot dot
Right.
dot has a meaning. See, Joy, if you're watching, hi. Yeah, it has a meaning.
So, um, oh gosh.
and
So
Rosa,
the
find your
first one that I'll do, um, as part of my book, and I'm gonna do this one because I swear when I talk, I can do so much. And let me just say, because I love working with artists, originally I wanted to be in the background of everything. I never wanted to be a face of. And something about doing my poetry. So the poem I'm going to do is entitled Breathe because I swear when it has something to do with my poetry, I have a hard time breathing. My breath gets a little short, but I give all thanks to the Almighty. I really do, that He enabled me. So this is entitled Breathe. Breathe life into me, through me, use me, that eternally I may be a motivating factor to those who hear and do not fear the power of mind. Holding magic in tongue, thinking to myself, Sapphire, you've waited too long. Still holding on to dreams. Every time I pick up a microphone to speak, the moisture from my lips leaves me. And you may see me standing here, but mentally I've already fallen to my knees and deemed this being unworthy. Yet and still I am begging the divine to continue to teach me, mold me, move me, that I may uniquely be intrigued by satisfying my own destiny. Worst enemy kept close to me. I see her in my reflection looking back every day as I paint on my mask, and each seeming similar to the last. But see, I've understand that time is moving much too fast not to consider the simplicity of a conscious reality, emotionally regaining possession of grace, which by definition meaning simple elegance or refinement of movement. As Almighty be mighty and continue to move me, mold me, teach me, use me, breathing life into me eternally. Thank you. Oh, God. Yeah. Thank you.
that was beautiful.
Thank you so much.
And that explained what you were talking about when we first opened.
Yeah, because it's every time. And remember when we did it, the show in Richardson? I don't know what
Right.
it is, but I do need more practice. I have focused a lot of my attention on other people and other things in the city and creating and doing events and stuff like that, that the time that I've taken from December to now and actually focusing on my book and what I want to accomplish is, I'll be out there performing more very soon.
Yes, please do. And baby girl, you don't need no more practice. You just need to do.
I know.
Just do it.
Thank you.
Just do it.
Yes,
Action.
ma'am.
Action. Waiting on you, Roses.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna share my most recent poem that I just finished, and
Okay.
it's entitled "Brand New Beginnings." The first book of the Bible is Genesis, and the last thought I had gave me a revelation. When you think of new beginnings, you smell the tears of a fresh coat of paint. Some might even say brand new beginnings feel like midnight after New Year's Eve. A painter's palette of fireworks explodes with hope that has never felt disappointment. Brand new beginnings remind me of the candle musk of a new book with pages that haven't stepped into the footprints of crow's feet. However, sometimes brand new beginnings seem to be the alarm clock for my anxiety that reminds me of how much I prefer the sanctuary of solitude. I like to say I'm a full time loner, but never alone. My part time friends all live in a bookstore off Fifth Ave. We usually meet up there like every other Saturday to discuss dreams that don't get enough sleep, love that is misunderstood, and a hope that matches Casper. I usually dress down, but on the weekend escapades, my favorite colors are stitched within my essence and bleed through my accessories, dripping onto the array of paths I could choose. Book number one, entitled Red Receipts, grabbed me first, jumping into the corner of my peripheral as if it was stopping and just waiting for my bus at the edge of a street. Fifth Ave can get busy, almost as busy as the business in my mind over time is embedded in my pillow, so I flex my hours by taking cat naps under the covers of desired categories and let the gravity of the hours just floats away. I love to let time watch me for a change and get lost in the poetry of stone carved stories bound by the commandments of passion, red receipts. Things have been a little rocky since our last date, and you still haven't replied to my text. I know you need to be watered and read and protected and comforted, but I have been stuck on the same chapter for more than a few days. They say just start something else, but I'm not the type to go book hopping. I've typed a couple of books enough to know they have feelings too. Yes, I want you to come too. I can't stand the thought of our porcelain being broken up. I promise I'll read more between the lines of your life. Just promise me it's not too late. Late fees are never in the budget, and I don't want to budge for someone else to get what my heart will die for, but sometimes forever ends before the end. Book number two, entitled The Music of a Muse, and it interrupts what we have going on. Cheating isn't as off putting as it used to be. Please forgive me. I told myself I'd never be that guy, but I just got to see what's inside, so I walked inside the walls of pages as her songs scribbled across my guitar heartstrings. I love the conversations you pick that don't need words. I want to read your book and your blank spaces just so I can feel what space is like. How do you make Earth have no gravity? I want to read the braille of your goosebumps, and I Want to feel every inch of everything, thoughts moving too fast to see all this transpired within half a blink, eyes open, and she was just sitting there, glowing. The music of a muse has a hug that scratches like an old vinyl that only plays on the second try. Now I'm confused. Do I really want a second chance or just another chance at lust? Self love is a must. Least you rots in the rust of forgotten titles. I really don't believe in titles, but there's this girl, the same girl coming up in different titles of these poems. Attention, the library closes in 10 minutes. Where did the time go? I always get lost behind your eyes. Guess this is goodbye. P.S. Never mind. I'll just bring both books with me.
Now you know what? Both of y'all. Now I don't even want to read my poetry. I'm just playing.
Oh,
Both of y'all are tremendous. Now, Roses, I have to ask what inspired that because you said you just wrote it.
I did. So I got inspired. I just competed in the Texas Storytelling Festival, and the prompt for the storytelling slam was brand new beginnings. And so I was trying to put a little twist on it, and of course, I always come at things most of the time from a romantic or romance perspective, and so uh, the line about where I talked about the crow's feet and like the middle of the poem is where I started, and then I kind of like added everything around it. It kind of just shaped and flowed, and I wrote it I wrote it pretty quickly. I wrote it in like a couple hours. Usually, if
no.
I'm like really inspired, I can knock something out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I always like. Of course, I'm gonna keep giving both of you guys accolades. I like both of you guys' poetry so much, but and that brings me to another thing because you said slam. See, people who are new to poetry, there's different versions of poetry. You can be a slam poet, a spoken word poet. Oh gosh, I'm thinking of another one, a prose poet. So, what do you consider yourself more of? Because to me, slam is very performative to me. You have to perform, and um,
Yeah,
I'm trying to pull the word. You have to be very performative. It's very emotional. It draws a lot of emotion because, like, if anybody watched Def Poet Jam, remember that?
hmm
Those
Yeah.
hmm
are a lot of silent poets on there. Um, Myself, I'm more of a spoken word, so I guess I'm more down
Same.
the letter. I'm more calm. um, you, Phoenix, or
I would say I'm a spoken word poet. Definitely not a slam. I guess you're nervous for that, but yeah, definitely spoken word.
yeah, I'm trying to.
I completely agree with y'all. I'm definitely more of a prose and spoken word poet. I did that slam competition as a challenge to myself. It was on my birthday, and so I was like, this seems like a
Nice.
cool thing to do, and it was fun. I enjoyed it, but I definitely don't consider myself a slam poet at all, and so I just wanted to get out there, try it, and it's a good way to practice and keep things moving.
I, you want to know why? Let me be very honest. Why I can't be a slam poet? It's my memory.
Hmm.
I might remember. I don't think I can. Um, and I shouldn't say can't because I probably can. I just don't want to stress this muscle to remember things. Um, I do have some poems memorized, but I literally have to practice like a East, like when you're getting ready for Easter, when you were a kid and preparing for your for your Easter poem. That's me before I have to perform anything memorized. I guess I put it like that. The you Phoenix?
Um, I can memorize it, but like I was performing at Mavericks for a show we had with DFW Music, and there were a good like 100 people in there, and one person at the front looked me in the eyes. I lost all my words. So even if I have it, sometimes I'll get ahead of myself when I'm performing, um, because it makes me emotional. I feel so much, and with people, so I don't know. Yeah. I can remember it,
Yeah,
but in that moment.
well, I ain't gonna speak my age. That could be why I have a hard time. No, I can remember some things. I wrote a short poem today because it was just something that came to me. It's not. It's a short poem. We're gonna do another round. It's called Reflection. Normally, I do. Um, I'm more romance, relationship poetry, so this is kind of different. It says, when you look in the mirror, do you like what you see? I know if you look at me, people see different pieces of me. See, what you see is a direct reflection of you, and the energy is directed back at you. To some, I'm the quietest, nicest person you may know. To others, I'm a foul, heartless menace that walks around. This again is a reflection of you floating back through me. Everything is energy reflected times two. So if you see something you didn't like in me, turn the mirror and take the reflection and see you.
Facts.
So
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Yes.
yeah, I wrote that in the middle of driving to work. So that was what is that?
Not me.
Angela?
What that was.
Oh, we did. I don't know if the audience heard that. It was kind of like a Japanese gong. Like, woo, okay, I have respect.
Okay.
Who's doing that?
I don't
Okay,
know.
well, thanks.
Not me.
Okay, okay. So, with us knowing our, do any of you guys have any poets that influence your work, whether some of the ancestors or current poets that are around on the scene? Just anybody that influences you or that you kind of follow?
Uh, One of my favorite city poets is, I think his name is Black Caesar. I'll say that.
Oh, I know.
He's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
he's in deal.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. He's super cool. He's the only one I can think of off top as far as city. Um, I would say I'm more influenced by books. Um,
Hmm.
I like to read, and I like to challenge my thought process on reality and the way that I see things. So I study a lot of hermetic principles, Tesla theory. So I did, because I didn't know what to expect on the podcast. I did pull off a couple of my favorite quotes. So
Okay.
if I could say one of my favorite Einstein quotes, it says, imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. And that's one of my favorite
Right.
quotes.
Hmm.
Right. Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here for your next one.
Oh, okay. So that's one. And then that was the hold on. Only one that I had pulled. Okay. Okay, so um I've been studying quantum theory and stuff a lot, and Nikola Tesla, Einstein, back to the Egyptians and hermetics, and how within every religion, regardless what truths are like a baseline. Um, anyways, and how we limit ourselves or how I limit myself, even in every aspect, but whatever we focus on and give our attention to, that's what the universe gives back to us. Um, so the Nikola Tesla quote that I pulled, and that I actually have this one written in my book at work. Um, We build not to tear down. Most of our work and resources is squandered. Our onward march is marked by devastation. Everywhere there is appalling loss of time, effort, and life. The careless view, but true. Okay, and I know it sounds bad, but it's like if we build it up and tear it down, then what will we do? We'll rebuild it, right? So it's a constant cycle that when we become aware of what we're doing and that awakening to reality and like my awakening to my reality, I have poems like about ghost and just the different phases that I went through from my past and my adolescence going into being a wife and a mom and then being single and on my own and just the different elevation, how I set that path for me to come to a point of destruction from my thought process and the way
Right.
and what I was giving out and learning in myself and through those books and different I love perception. So what you perceive and how you see the world and how you see it, and we all come from different worlds living in the same reality. Um, and that's why poetry is so beautiful to me. But yeah, those are two of my favorite quotes because it reminds me, I created. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. Right. No, that's very deep. No, I like that.
thank you.
What you have a favorite one, Roses?
I do. My favorite quote is, it's also, I quote it in the next poem I'm going to share, but it's "You remind me of a rose, an absolute rose," and it's from The Great Gatsby book, and that's Daisy talking.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, the whole thing with roses for me is just remembering to continue to evolve and step into the beauty. And I kind of talk about this too with the poem, how uh, dead roses and dead petals, to some, is just as beautiful as the ones with life. And people save them
Mhm.
and cherish them. And so there's not a lot that you can compare to the duality of a rose, I would say.
True.
That's so true.
Mhm.
That's actually a beautiful comparison. Um, one of my favorite quotes is by Malcolm X. He says, "If you have no critics, it's likely you have no success."
Mm,
Come
And I've
on.
lived that. I've lived that my whole life because if nobody's criticizing you or critiquing you, um, what are you doing? You being average, you being on their level, you not growing, you not elevating yourself. Now, when you have critics, you are doing something, whether it's good or bad. And I know people always ask me, how do you take criticism? I like to hear criticism.
Same.
It's a difference between being criticized and hearing constructive criticism and being somebody trying to tear you down because there's an immense
Mhm.
difference. Criticism is to help you grow, help you sharpen yourself, which
Right.
leads me to another one of my favorite quotes: iron sharpens iron. So if you have somebody that's trying to help you grow and they're growing, you're going to sharpen each other. So I just
Mhm.
said all of my favorite quotes and my philosophy. Now, like I said, all criticism isn't good, but I take it in and try to learn from it. Now, if you're trying to tear me down, I'm a listen, but I'm gonna know the difference with
Right.
that.
right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think words hold power, and that's what's so powerful about poetry because you're able to say to put your essence and your thoughts and your power into the world for people to receive it. And like as we have stated several times, and grow and glow from poetry. So I'm ready if you guys want to share more poetry and give analysis. I'm loving this, and I hope anybody who is in the poetry. I am.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, this one I know almost by heart. I know it. It's just this was the first poem that I wrote with the intention of performing. Um, I don't know where it went. Because man, some of my poetry that I'm putting in the book is from that dire point in my life, you know? So not being in that
Mhm.
energy so much anymore. Um,
Yeah, it's always weird to me when I go back and read some of my poems on like mental health and stuff and seeing like where I was at and reading
yeah,
them compared to now where I'm in a much healthy and better stable state. I'm like, oh my goodness, I wrote that.
yeah,
Right. I mean, that's how it was for me because I know you guys know I started out through a divorce and healing myself, and I look back at some of those poems in my first book, and I'm like, "Oh wow, that cut deep, and that really was me. I was like this and had thoughts like this." But your poetry shows your evolution. That's what's so
Hmm.
lovely about it.
right, right,
Back
Yeah.
and say that's not me anymore. It was me, but anything you go through, like they say in church, is your testimony to make you who you are.
right.
So if you hadn't that, you wouldn't evolve to where you are now. Growth.
Exactly.
We
And no matter
grow.
how bad. True.
Mhm. Mhm.
So true. Are you ready for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So, like I said, this is the first poem I wrote with the intention of performing. And I actually wrote it in my mom's little hallway, standing up on her ironing board. And it just poured out of me. And then I added more to it later. But it's entitled Stand. I stand here as I am. I do not attempt to deny or save face. Still, I seek his embrace. Knowing not if this dream I chase is covered by his grace, still I stand. Devising plans of success for everyone around me, feeling left alone to watch my people sleep, not wanting to change or bend the frame of your existence. Rather, you would want to miss this. So you can claim you did not know or could not see, but he is the air we breathe. Lie to me, I will not cease to be, but become a phoenix. See, this fire encompasses me. And for all eternity, I would rather seek to find a king than settle for this blasphemy being offered to me. I've come to bring truth, motivation to the masses, if and only we seek to grasp it. Understand being beyond a feeling, devotion rising above religion. What is the point of it if we devotion rising above religion? What is the point of it if you spend your nights wiping tears from your eyes? That is not the mercy that has been promised to me, nor will I sit here believing I can fly when have not the wings to carry me.
Mm.
Like the dwindling of a legacy, an empire falls, even when it is hidden behind four walls. Because if I am not good within me, who can I be to the people he brings? Ask yourself
Mhm.
what it means to be saved, to find a savior. Consider the mind and its power, and do not lose sight of the hour. We live in the last days pretending not to feel the change in the air, weeping of how it's not fair, yet and still forgetting the connections of energy. And surely we do dispense it, then try to forget it. But it follows, and soon enough we feel hollow. So I ask, what is there left to be saved? Remember, we have to be the change. And if we are the change, then we cannot remain the same. We must
Mm.
elevate our thinking and rise to this awakening to reality. that we may become more than who we are in our dreams, see beyond the things we have seen, and in turn, we shall live out our lives victoriously, no longer left victim of thought. See, you read your book and you claim he paid the cost. Then you turn
Mm,
around, face a trial, and look at lack as though it be loss. But see, if he be almighty, maker of peace and tranquility, and I am made in the image of he who created me, then in my being it must be known that I am the individual creator of my reality. Desires for this awakening arouse me from my sleep. So I stand here before you only attempting to speak my peace. Lessons of life, love, and mercy keep us on our feet so that when we stand, we know in our hearts we stand for something. Amen.
mm,
Mm,
mm, mm.
okay.
Yeah, I had to write the prayer. Yes,
Thank you.
yes, yes. So you're an analyst.
Um, yeah, that is
It,
just it's like if I I feel like when the Bible says that the truth is simple and the road to hell is wide and to heaven is thin and all these different things that keep us in restraints, that keep us pulling us down, like we have to stand for something. We have to change our thinking and understand our place um in the world, even being a speck of dust and
mhm.
holding things in our hand, and how, like, my son said this to me, and I'm sorry, but he said, imagine holding a plate in your hand for an hour. Like, how long do you think you could hold a plate full of food in your hand? Your
Mm,
hand will crip, it will fall. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna lose strength quick, and we're being held in the hands of the Almighty, and He is constantly with us.
yes, he
So
is.
um yeah, that's just I wanna, even if someone doesn't hear everything I have to say, if I can ignite thought in you to look at the world a little bit differently or circumstances a little differently, like I did with my son, and now he's very much in church and in the Bible, and I'm not so much, but I believe, you know what I mean? And I told him it's not my place to pick which way you go. I believe there's truth in all levels of thought and religion, and you can find truth in anything. Or if you're looking for the latter, you'll find the latter too. But whatever you choose, don't be hot or cold or sit on the fence. If you're gonna stand, stand.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And you made me think of a poem I had. Okay, Rose, does you have another one?
Yes, I do. And so this is the one I was talking about. It's entitled Nikki. And this piece is also the theme or signature poem for my business, and so it represents the theology and passion that created my business, Sculptor Roses Company. And it's also inspired from one of my favorite movies, Great Gatsby. If beautiful was printed from a negative, it would be the silhouette of a rose, because roses are sculpted from the hands of immortality, breathed from the marble no one saw. As a flower, every petal flaunts the gorgeous of galaxies, positively divine. The eyes of roses are as ocean deep as the sky is blue. They see life the way we're supposed to live. Balance in duality, life and death, a marriage with as many anniversaries as time. The two need to become one so fear may bloom into confidence. A rose might be one of the few things to achieve perfection on earth, the way its attraction reflects the heavens, it is just as beautiful and symbolic in death as the climax of its glow. The way it smiles ages like the innocence of a child until its aroma becomes the wine from 35. The way it freezes death into a Picasso Dali-esque piece of painted poetry. A rose understands the heartbeat of the death and the silence of life and humility. That's why they are used during and after life. Have you ever seen such grace command hell? Roses make the marble soft and the concrete cry and anxiety strong. And that's why I say you remind me of a rose, an absolute rose. You are and can be everything you want to achieve. P.S. It's never too late to sculpt your rose.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm. Love that.
I love
That
that.
was fire. Fire.
Thank you, thank you. Um,
I'm listening for your take, poet. Come on, poet.
yeah.
Run it.
I think so. Sculpted Roses Company. When I came up with the name, I was very much attracted to the idea of uh, rose blooming from the concrete and how, in order to grow, you have to start where you're planted. I think a lot of the
Mm,
times we all get caught up in the comparison trap of looking
Yeah.
around at everything else and what's going on, and we try to grow by taking different pieces of everybody else that we like and add it to us, but that doesn't work. And if it does work, it's not a permanent or long lasting fix. And so the idea behind Sculpted Roses Company is to bloom where you're planted, recognize who you are with the reality of your weaknesses as well as your strengths, and challenging yourself by asking the hard questions and just taking it one step at a time and growing and molding that marble, that concrete into something beautiful, and knowing that you can do it.
all
And
right.
so
All right.
that's just all that was behind that poem.
I love it. Um, I love it. I love it. If you guys would tell your current projects and where you can be found on social media.
So yay, I just got into my Instagram again. I thought I was locked out forever until I went to get on this show. And seeing I was locked in on this computer. I thought it was gone. I had already accepted it was gone forever. But you can find me on all platforms as Phoenix Sapphire 888. Um, right now, I am in process of completing my book. And then I'm going to also do audiobook, which I'm also in the process of doing. I got a couple done and recorded, so it'll be an audiobook along with a paperback book coming out soon, once editing and recording is done. So you can look for that towards the winter of 2025. And yeah, Phoenix Sapphire 888. That's me.
On all platforms at Sculpted Roses Company, spelled exactly how it sounds. And I also have my website, www.sculptedrosescompany.com, and I have merch on there. And you can find my current book out entitled Random Thoughts. It is an ebook, and you can purchase it on my website. It's only $5. Um, I wanted to have something that was readily accessible for any and everyone, and something that's cheap and affordable, but also gives you a little bit of a taste of who I am as a poet and the different genres or themes I talk about, and so that's how that kind of came about. And current projects, I am writing a creative writing curriculum, and I'm also finishing up a chapbook, which is going to be part of a bigger series of a huge poetry collection that I'm very excited about. I have a lot of big things coming with this chapbook, starting with this chapbook, and it's going to be released towards the end of this year. So just stay tuned for that because there's a lot of very cool things that haven't been done within the poetry world yet that I'm going to introduce. And so it's cool. I'm excited. I am going to try. I marked it on my calendar. And so as long as nothing else comes up, I will be there. But
Guys, because I'll see you at um when is it? April the 8th for open mic?
yes, the I'm featuring at the Doc Bookshop on April 8th.
You hear that, Phoenix? I've been trying to get you to go.
Is supposed to go to Doc's, and I go there constantly because that's the only place that I get my perfume and my sage. And I have not performed there, but I know you've been telling me. I'm gonna get over there.
It's every they're getting a free shout out. It's every Tuesday night, open mic, 7 o'clock p.m. If you're in the DFW area, the Doc Bookshop. And they sponsored the AAALAC last year when they came to town with Queen Angela. Um, Angela, are you still around? Okay, are you ready to turn? I said, are you ready to turn? I said, are you ready to turn?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think you said we had two more people, right? Oh no, well we gonna cut. I don't know who would have came. Oh no, ma'am. Well, no, ma'am. Well, I'm gonna continue with my. Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
No, ma'am. I'm gonna continue with my.
Okay, I
If
know
they didn't
Jill and
confirm.
Jasmine.
Oh, are they on the poets on Instagram? Are they your friends? The one.
They're not poets. They're just friends of mine.
Oh, okay. Well, we will continue on. Sorry, people. Woo! This is the first show, so we're gonna
Yeah.
continue with our post of poetry with Miss Phoenix Sapphire and with Roses if they still want to stay. We just have a the home stretch going through because I am enjoying the poetry. Okay, well, we're continuing. So,
Okay.
sorry, Miss Angela. Um, so, so with your last, and I'm pointing, sorry, uh, poem,
Ah.
Roses and Phoenix. I normally don't do my Devil's Reflection. It's a poem that I wrote, and when I heard your poem, Phoenix, and what you were talking about, you know, with the Almighty always being in our life, I have a poem that I wrote called Devil's Reflection that I'd like to share with everybody, if it's okay.
Yes,
Okay. The
please.
it's the devil's reflection is always in your eyes. Who is it that you despise? Fix what's inside, make yourself whole. Don't let the devil own your soul. See, the devil is tricky. Remember, he was God's right hand man. He loved, planned, and protected God until he fell. He fell long and hard from grace. He lost his place. So now he tries to own anyone who will open up and be owned. A lost soul, desperately seeking someone in a plight that can't be undone. Steady falling, and he's calling to you. Get him out of your soul. Make yourself whole. You still have time to reconcile and rise. Leave that devil behind. So
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
real sure.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, so I know we were just talking about open mic. So when you guys go to open mic, do any of you like to perform with music or any other kind of media?
I write to music, so yes, because when I have the music behind me, I say it different, and the music helps me because I be rushing, and that's what people you gotta be trying to get it out and go. So no, but the music helps me to stay on point with it, and it also crescendos and flows different with the music behind it.
Right, right. Right. I have a poem that I probably do with music before we get off.
Okay.
I agree with you. The music puts me in a different space. It
Hmm.
helps me because I like to karaoke. Anybody who knows me, I like to
Okay.
karaoke. So that helps me. That actually helps me memorize my poems or feel more confident performing them because what is poetry? Poetry are lyrics, and your poem can be a song. So that's what helps me. Um, you roses?
I love to write to music. I write to music all the time. I have not performed with music, and to be honest, it's very nerve wracking for me because I can't. I feel like I'm basically the opposite of Phoenix. It doesn't calm me down. It makes me more anxious
Sure.
because I feel like with the music and the beat, if I misstep or need to freestyle somewhere in the performance, then it throws everything else off of the music. And in my head, I'm like, oh no, I don't know what to do now. I haven't learned how to just freestyle with music yet. And
Well,
so
see, me neither. I can't freestyle.
Really?
Not at all. Not at all. But I'm beat deaf,
No.
so I can't hear the beat right. I just speak on the beat, if that makes sense.
Well, I can like when I'm looking for a song to go with my poem, I listen to the music. I listen to it, and then I'll stand up and I'll speak the poem.
Mhm.
And that's how I guess. Like I said, it's like karaoke coaching, right? That's how I learn it. And then sometimes I can hear music and it spark me to write a poem. I'm in. I have a friend that's she's a musical therapy coach, and so she teaches about the different the music. I don't want to mess it up. The music tones, like different tones, can make inspire you to write. And I'll listen to her playlist and different, because music does like alter your mood, right?
right.
Yes.
And so I'll listen to her playlist, and they help me to write and be more free and be more upbeat. Because if I listen to something sad and I'm trying to write, of course my poem's gonna be all
Yeah.
gloom, doom,
Some days I
broken
won't
hearted.
listen to music for that reason. Like today was a day I did not listen to any music. I started the morning with a couple of books. Like it was like a book and then it was like a little podcast type thing speaking about consciousness. And then I do like research work, analyst. So I'll put on binaural beats while I work, um and it has increased my productivity so much because I do commission work, so really what put in I get out, but my focus with the binaural beats so on point. I would suggest everybody do some binaural beats. Like the instrumental's cool for writing poetry, but understanding the hertz that you're listening to and what goes into the music, that's why the song will make you sad or happy or make you want to go get drunk or whatever.
Right, right.
They
That's what. Hmm.
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Mm-mm.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they purposely do that to flow your mind in a certain, put you in a certain feeling or vibration, rather.
Exactly.
I've heard that theory before. They're like when you're out shopping, right? You hear all the upbeat
Hmm.
music, so you keep shopping and spending your money because you're feeling
Hmm.
good, and then you get home and you have shopper's remorse, right?
Ooh,
But
what
what
can
you said, the Bible. Yes, ma'am.
Mm-mm, go ahead. I'm sorry. I talk too much. It.
Mm-mm. No, you're the guest here. No,
I
I want to
just
hear what
wanted
your
to
thoughts.
say that that's why when you go to the club, the music is purposely loud because playing those types of tones at that volume will make you drink faster. Literally, look it up. Like, and it's literally all a game that the whoever are playing with us, that we do have to be conscious of what we feed ourselves. The same, you put vegetables, eat vegetables. Like, here's even more important than your tummy.
Hmm. No, I've. Okay, don't judge me. I've written a poem when I've been out and I might have had a sip or two, and then I'll read it and I'm like, oh, that's a whole total different vibe from. But it
Hmm.
means something because at that point, at that state of mind that I was in, that's what I meant and that's what I wrote. And usually it's an empowering poem, but I have written this, just in different stages of emotion, put it like that. Yeah. Hmm. And I find that when I go back and look at the poetry, it's like, oh yeah, it was stating my thoughts to a T. um, Anybody you want to round three before we go off?
Oh
A
god.
Round three.
Round three.
Let me
The,
Okay.
see.
the final round, what they call finisher, like Mortal Kombat. And since we're
So,
talking about music, I'm gonna do mine with music, just so y'all know.
okay. You want to go first?
Hear me? Okay, let's see. And actually, I'm gonna do the genre that I like, romance, and it's called. Let me see if I find the music real quick. Um, you. Let's see. Let's see if I can find the music real quick. I don't know if y'all can.
Okay.
See, you said you loved me, but you lied. You broke my heart and you left me to cry. You took away the light from my eyes. You left me in the dark, alone and cold. See, you said you needed me, but you didn't. You found someone else and you forgot me. You threw away the memories we made. You left me in the past unwanted and cold. See, you said you wanted me, but you changed. You changed your mind. You gave up on us and you let me go. You ignored the promises we swore. You left me in the dust, broken and cold. See, you said you loved me, but you lied. You broke my heart and you left me to cry. You took away the light that was in my eyes. You left me in the dark, alone and cold. You left a hole in my soul. But see, but see, when you did this, you made me grow. You made me realize that love isn't dependent on one person. It takes two. So I healed, understanding the revelation. I survived. I found someone who brought that light back to my eyes. He loves me to life. Yes, to life. 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 See, see, if you wouldn't have filled me with sorrow, I would know joy. So thank you for saying you loved me when you didn't. Thank you for breaking my heart. This gave me a brand new start. See, you opened the door to my future. So now I can close the door on you, my past. See, thank you because I'm no longer in the dark, alone and cold. Baby, I'm whole. I'm new. I'm revived. I'm loved. I'm celebrated. I'm whole. And just like the phoenix from the ashes, I rose. Yeah, that was my poem, you. And so I make y'all analyze. That was at the point when I realized that I was healed and I was whole. And sometimes you have to go through lessons because you wouldn't know true love. If you know, I know true love because I experienced something that wasn't love,
Hmm.
or
Right.
I was love, right? So when you grow and you heal, you know your deal breakers, you know what you want, what you don't, and that's
What?
what that poem came from. But
You
I'm a phoenix. I rose from the ashes.
had
Yeah.
to get the hell out of there with them red flags. Once you heal, I love that poem. 'Cause-
Thank you. But that's my poem that I like to. I have a couple that I like to perform to music. So that one I can feel it. The first time I tried to perform it, I cried. The second time I cried because that's the beauty of poetry, right? Now I'm excited because if it doesn't evoke emotion, if
right.
from you, the poet, does it really mean anything to you?
Hmm.
True.
Right? It should evoke some type of feeling, some type of emotion.
Yeah.
And I like to see when I perform when people are snapping or I see that I had connected. So anyhow, I'm
Just
gonna
don't
give the floor to who's next.
just don't look at me in the eyes when I'm performing. I've learned how you gotta look at people but look past them. Cause don't look through me. Anyways,
Yeah, our debate teacher, I gotta go back to high school, said imagine everybody naked.
yeah, that's not gonna help me. That's just gonna distract me more.
What? It helps me, but I won't look you in the eyes. I'm gonna turn away. Perform
Yeah,
your do your
I can't even barely see. So on this, because I haven't used my computer set up in a minute, but okay. This one is entitled Ghost. Ghost, haunting my mind and possessing my energy. The constant draining of power. That every hour I feel myself drifting, moving me further away from source. Coming to this place, I no longer feel my cries are being heard. Let me be still. Let me feel that this is real. For in this moment in time, I find that even if the world be overwhelmed with lies, I love life. Ghosts, they come and they go, taking all that they will from the one still longing to give, knowing not the scars they leave on heart. See, I sacrificed and I took the loss. So you may call me a fool because I did what you would not do, loved when I didn't have reason, tried again although I had already. And she may recite scripture to me as a reminder of how many times I am obligated to forgive, or tell me the stories of how Jesus was crucified by his own people and that I too would serve as example. No, let me be still. Let me feel that this is real. For in this moment in time, I find that even if the world be overwhelmed with lies, I love life. Ghost, presenting confusion, truth, fact and fiction left undecided because what lies within Ghost, presenting confusion interlaced with truth, fact and fiction left undecided, because what lies within the desires of our leaders is that we may be easily defeated. Possibly, I should not even fix my lips to speak on the subject, as surely there are certain topics left out of daily discussions. So let me be still. Let me feel that this is real. For in this moment in time, I find that even if the world be overwhelmed by lies, I love life. Ghost.
Now you know the rule.
Oh,
You know the rule. I had to hear
yeah,
why.
I got,
Listen.
I was married for 13 years. I was abused and
Mm,
trying to heal myself from everything that was taught to me from 14 to 28 by
mm.
a man who can't, really teach me anything, but all these strongholds that I had to break in the Bible telling me that I'm supposed to forgive and forgive and forgive, and that kept me there,
Right,
you know?
right.
Um, but I mean, what's so it's like, and then it haunts you, you know what I'm saying? Because no matter how successful, now I'm a single mom, now I got all these kids and all these things and perceptions that people want to look at me like, well, go back to your husband or do this or do that. um I have to make the choice, and I
Right.
see at all avenues it was taught to me to get a family and have this and have that so that I can be what seen in a certain light, right? But the picture on the outside looked really pretty. House,
Mm-hmm.
cars, trips, all of that, it can look really pretty, but that doesn't mean like underneath I was dying, underneath I was, you know non
Suffocating.
suffocating to point of being non-responsive,
Mhm.
to where my kids see me now and they're like, to them then I was in so much depression that seeing me still, and I admit I'm ADHD, so I'll focus on this, and like right now it's been work and poetry and events and different things to keep me busy, but finding myself and my dream and operating out of survival mode is like those
Mm,
ghosts are still there. That's still a part of my past. But had I not went through that, I would not have found the books that I've read. I wouldn't have gotten so deep in it that I had to dig myself out and I had to find the strength to do it through those things that have ignited my consciousness to where I have an abundance of peace. But the damn ghosts, they're still there, you know? But yeah.
mhm. But it's not like I hate to say that I identify with everything going through a divorce and being yeah, going through a 21-year marriage and
Mhm.
you put up with things and when you finally find your voice and your peace is nothing like it. And
Right.
I'm proud of you that you expressed that. Like I say, you give voice and you touched me
Thanks.
because I never thought to call it a ghost. Um, I had a point. I have a poem that I have called "Hollow," and that was kind of like at my lowest point, right? Kind of like you're a ghost, and you had to do what's best for you at one point in time, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
let it out, and you can't be infatuated with society. Because I always feel like now that I'm healed, I'm like, if you think it was so good, you go live that life. I
Right.
saw something where someone said, "Hey, somebody think they're living your dream, but her dream is going to turn into her
Right.
to your nightmare because God released you from that."
Yes, he did. But I had to, and I have a poem about that too. I remember when I would scream out to the Almighty to save me and be there for me and why and why. And I remember when Almighty was like, I've been here with you. That's breathe came from that, breathing life into you while you
Right.
continue to make your same choice. And I was the one who chose to stay. I was the one who, you know, every time and whatever choice I've made, I made it. And Almighty has been there for me through it all, loving me abundantly. And I'm so thankful for where I am.
Yes, and I'm glad you're around. That's what we're here for. That's what the poetry's for. It is giving you a voice, and you won't believe how many other people, men and women, can connect to that. That's how my book became a bestseller, is because all I talked about. I went through a divorce and healed,
Mhm.
and that's where Phoenix Heart came from. Okay, we're not man bashing, so Mr. Roses. Everybody's gone through something. We should shed our tears. No, but that's it. That experience can go for a male or
Yeah,
for a woman, because men get trapped in bad situations. Men get abused whether they talk about it or not. Men get used
right.
too, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so that over to you.
I was gonna say I'm right there with you. I went through a divorce, and that was a part of my journey and my growth, and how it was a real tough 2 years where I had to kind of like, because I requested the divorce, and I basically just started all over from everything. And I think the toughest part for me through it was my son, who's my stepson. I call him my son, but he was, I've known him since he was 7, and he's 16 now.
Wow.
And so when me and his mom separated, it really affected him a lot too. And he doesn't know his real dad at all. So I was the only kind of father figure in his life. And so that was the hardest part for me, because I felt like I was just doing the same thing his dad did. And I knew it was going to be tough on him, but I was also trying. I made the decision based on what thought was going to be best for not just me, but for him and everyone as a whole, because the the circles and the patterns that we were going with were very unhealthy. And to be honest, I don't know if I would have been here much longer if I continued in that same pattern. And so, um,
I've been there.
Me too.
yeah, I can hear all of that with you. So, since we've been talking about all this, I'm in
No, but
my.
that's what the poetry is giving us the voice to put it out, right?
Hmm. I have I have a poem that I wrote for my son, kind of about this, and then I also have another one, uh,
Okay.
kind of about mental health, called "Shadows in the Mirror." Which
Mm.
one
Okay.
would y'all like to hear?
Both.
Shadows.
Both.
Which one? Phoenix can pick which one we're going to hear first.
Shadows in the mirror,
She's
definitely. I just
Shadows.
like the way that that sounds because people be afraid of mirrors, like don't have mirrors in your room and stuff. Put them all around me.
You
Like,
know what? I never thought about that, Phoenix.
mhm.
Okay, sorry.
It's very true, very true. So this is one of my mental health pieces, and it comes from one of my darker times, going through depression. Have I really been working on myself, or did I just change from my work clothes to something more comfortable? Is this depression, or is it just the pigment of my skin? Can I defeat you, detach from you, or are you so fingerprinted to my thoughts that I simply keep running away from me? Sometimes I wish I could just escape me. Myself wears a mask, and I am tired of getting dressed up just to feel down. I'm black, said my mind. I live in the shadows of sadness, watching the sunlight from a distance. If only the heat from the sun's smile would kiss me, maybe it would melt away my sadness. I'm black, said my words, followed by you're different. They won't accept you. You don't fit in. I'm black, says the mirror, looking at a reflection of depression. I get so lost in my waning emotions. My waxing moon can barely breathe. It's so cold that even the rays of light feel sad. I'm black. I'm depressed, I'm black, I'm oppressed, I'm black, I'm obsessed with the idea of my feelings living on equal ground. I'm black, I'm depressed. The two interchange while beginning to sound the same. So much so, I took depression's last name. When I look at me, I see one broken piece. I can't find the rest of the lyrics to my song. Maybe it's because the writer will never finish it. Maybe it's because I didn't cry enough to water my heart. I'm black, I'm dirt, but my soul is dying, and this soil is killing the last remaining rose. I am a rose with bloody red regrets for petals. I put my failures on a pedestal. I'm
Mm.
so lost. Every time I tried to look up, it got me nowhere. I'm so lost. I keep letting the gray line give me directions because there's a thin line between joy and happiness, and in the middle is pity where you can find me. I'm black, so they think I stole these 5 minutes of happiness. And
Mm.
so, what if I did? Everyone deserves 15 minutes of fame, and mine is coming soon. But right now, I just want to smile and actually feel the laughter hold me instead of the facade that hugs me like a long embrace. This morning, I stopped running and I looked depression in the face. My mind is not yours, it's the Lord's. P.S. Let the battle begin.
Mm.
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 Good. Had to wipe the tear.
I love
'Cause-
that
Me
poem.
too.
Wow.
Thank
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that.
You said a few
But
things in there. I was trying to go back what you said about the sun, and then you said put put your failures on a pedestal. Like that cuts deep. That really does because we learn a lot more from our mistakes, right? They stay with us longer, right? Wow,
mhm.
I love that.
And it's like your ghost. Combine that. That's a ghost.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like you said.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It
Mm.
really is. And just like, um, I think the biggest thing I learned through just the process of the divorce is not trying to run away from my reflection and
Mm.
accept who I was and the things that I didn't like or the weaknesses, asking myself why and learning more about myself from myself and saying, okay, this we're all right, and all we have to do is just take a step forward. We can't stay stuck in this reflection where you're only staring at the darkness. You have to learn how to turn the page and
Mhm.
create your own light. And going back to, like I said, being blooming where you're planted. And so
Mm.
that's a lot of where that piece came from.
Yeah, you're a rose that grew through the concrete. You write that, right? A rose through the
Yes,
concrete.
yes.
Hmm. Yeah, I really felt that one.
Mhm.
I did. Hmm.
Have you ever like been walking? Because I used to have my room set up in a way where I would, when my thing was over there, I would walk in and my own shadow in the mirrors because they tilt. I have two that tilt in, and the one, my own shadow in the mirror would scare me, and I'd be like, "What was that?" And then you have to go back and you kind of look, and you're like, "Okay, that was me. That was me."
Hmm, hmm. Yep.
That's a good premise for a poem, Phoenix.
Yeah, yeah, no, most definitely. But that his poem made me think of it in a different way because that's really it's like that remnants of our failures, just like poking in for, in the back of our minds, like it's always there. And just you be want to be happy, you say get dressed up nice to feel how, you know what I'm saying? And I love.
And I liked your references to black because
Mhm.
Hmm.
I'm actually in the middle of a poem black, but you made me see it different um, because yeah, because what am I? I'm walking around black.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Depression,
Mm. Even coming
that
from a black man.
and
very much so. Like learning how to be comfortable in my own skin, and I just kind of like played with the words of like black and darkness and depression, but also I'm a black man and I
Mhm.
am not 100% comfortable being a black man at that point. And so I just wrote about that and
Mm.
trying to figure out how to conquer the gates of myself.
Yeah, you wrote it was a beautiful duality on the play of black to
Hmm.
make. That's what I pulled out of it the most because I was like, wow.
It,
Because like I said, I'm playing around with a poem black, but yeah, your duality is was great.
it
And
speaks a lot on the black man, though, and I think more need to hear it because the black man is facing criticism from every outside just because. And most times they aren't able to focus on what's going on inside of them. So not only do you have to fight the world, you got to fight yourself too. You got to fight your woman, your kids. You got to be that authority. And but what about what I see when I'm looking in the mirror? Like I commend you greatly for your expression, and the way that you articulate it is amazing.
mhm.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I
Yes.
really appreciate that. And that's in the same way I'm learning all this, I challenge myself to share in hopes that it can inspire someone else to do the same or teach someone else how to do the same because we all need that.
Right.
Hmm. We do. You gonna do your last poem, and then I think we got about 15 minutes and wrap up.
Okay. Okay, so this one is entitled My Son, Remember This.
Mhm.
Coloring when you're younger is letting each shade have its alone time. They say elders deserve it, but I never had the opportunity to see your hair age to gray. You were a silver fox, elusive with your presence, no matter how much of a present it would be for me. Doesn't anyone care about how I feel? I didn't ask to be here, yet I am, and everything is falling apart. I have to pick up the pieces and make them beautiful. Whoever said horror was beautiful never had a cut deeper than the surface. I can't escape this horror story, and adults keep preaching about the honor they don't even hold on to. Your moral compass clearly was never fixed, so stop trying to fix me. I'll do it myself. Just like everything else, I don't care if I take the long way. What's a little more pain with this depression? This is what I imagined your thoughts said after you heard me say, Mom and Dad are getting a divorce. I'm sorry to have multiplied the trend of men walking out your life, son. I'm sorry, and I hope you don't keep your hands around the neck of a grudge. My son, I love you. I'm sorry, your picture of love now has a crack in it. My everything, if you hate me and ignore everything else. Please remember this: respect is earned, not given. So learn to give it even when it's not deserved, because pain can learn to heal when patience reflects. Respect can't be bought. So don't spend your money on brands expecting it to elevate your title. Your name holds a weight more valuable than gold. Not even the world can hold you. Let nothing hold you back. Dad will always have your back. Respect those who hurt you more than the love they didn't give. When you treat respect like the kindness everyone should receive, you won't have to ask for it. Then you can paint your own future. Coloring when you're older is letting the paint sit at the grown folks' table and mix in conversation. Yes, no matter what, our colors will always match.
Mm.
I love that too.
You just said I'm making me cry tonight, huh? I love that. Um, Again, a lot of men don't express their love as they should for their kids, and that's what I like about that poem. And my favorite line is, "I'm sorry that I had to leave a crack." How do you? Can you run it? What was that line? Can you run it back, poet?
Hmm.
That I had to leave a crack.
My son, I love you. I'm sorry your picture of love now has a crack in it.
Mm.
Right. That's so deep because a lot of kids experience that
Hmm.
when parents split, and that's
Yeah.
just such a. I mean, I don't want to cry, but it's just such a um, what poetic way to say that I'm sorry that we split and your heart is split because the kids are split and they do see a crack when parents leave like that. You know,
Yeah.
Hmm.
yeah, that's deep. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm,
And
yeah.
again, to be a man to have that level of motion for a child that's not biologically yours is a testament in itself. So it's speaking on so many levels, but love is love, you know,
Right.
and it's beautiful and it breaks and it mends in pieces and having that expression to show. You said he's 16 now?
Yes, he's 16. I hate it because he's a whole young adult now, but I still think of him as a little kid.
No, they stay babies. My kids are now 21, 19, 18,
Mm,
and they are still babies, but you see them be molded into who they are. Like now they get to make their own choices, and you get to see how much you've actually taught them by
hmm.
their character,
Right.
who they really are. So I really do personally, I sit in awe of my kids. And if you look back, like they'll joke because a little girl came and tried to run away over here from a
What?
friend. One of the friends came over here and said the mom was trying to make her do clean something, so she ran away. And like my son was like, "You, the levels
They
that
ran.
you know what I'm saying to the struggles that they've been through and what we've been through, to see the way that they handle themselves and stuff is amazing."
Right.
Hmm. Right. That's just, yeah. That's just awesome because you're still being a guide, an influence for him,
Mhm.
regardless, because
Right.
your poetry speaks volumes. Hmm. So we're winding down a little bit. I had to ask a fun question. So, if you had your poetry turned into a mini saga movie, who would you want to play you
Yeah.
as an actor, actress? Who fits your personality?
That's so.
Hmm.
I'm biased. I don't know who would fit my personality the best, but I know I know I have my favorite actors that I go watch and see, and,
Mhm.
and like I really like Ryan Gosling a lot. I'll go see anything that he's in, even if it's trash, just because I like him.
Yeah, you're a
Um,
movie fanatic too, movie buff.
mhm.
Right.
And then I also like Johnny Depp a lot too. I feel like his offbeat, quirky weirdness fits the artistic side of me that people don't really see a lot.
Hmm.
It's in there.
So Ryan Gosling. Okay. Okay. Yours, Phoenix?
Ooh, I always felt like my story. I would say the two off top I would want to play me would be Laura London or Kelly Rowland.
Oh, Kelly. She's a little spicy. All right.
Yeah,
All
because
right.
I'm not, people will talk to me. I'm in tune with every side of me. So to the level of passion and peace I have, to the same levels of fury and aggression flow in me. So like Kelly Rowland in that what was it, Mila Coopler or something like that. Her and
Mia Tova.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Laura London from back in the day and that soft side, because that is who I am, but a lot of times circumstances brings out another side of me. So one of them. Yeah.
Okay. I asked the question, and who would I like? Carrie, I love Kerry Washington. I
Mm.
mean, she's just
Mhm.
classic. She's strong. She's smart. Um, and this is crazy. I really started liking her when I seen her in the role in Django, because she
Okay.
was, remember, she was a slave that was locked away because she was so smart,
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
and she would not give in, and they, beat her, put her down, whatever. But a man came for her, and I liked her from that point. And then I didn't fall into the scandal craze until later. I like her, and then I love Taraji. So
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yes.
Taraji.
Taraji. Yeah.
Taraji could be the other side of me. If we had duality, she could be the other side of me. What you say, the feisty side. Yeah,
Mhm.
Taraji's no nonsense, and
Mhm.
and I liked her in. Oh God, I can't think of the Tyler Perry movie when
I wish
she
you
was actually kind of nutty, but when she worked all that time for I can't think of the name of it, when she worked all that time for him, and then he up and married somebody else. However, she did give him the boot.
Oh
God,
yeah.
acrimony, acrimony. I liked her in acrimony. I
Mm.
mean, I'm not saying I was her, but I kind of could, could relate to some of that. Not all of it, but to some of that when you build people up, and then they feel like they walk out even though she kind of pushed them out. But yeah. So before we leave, I know we did this at the break. Um, again, tell us your name, your pen name, where to find you, what books you have out, and then we're gonna wrap it up. And when I just like to say thank you very much for gracing my podcast with your poetry. Both of you have brought me to tears. We've had some great conversations. Um, I know it's not like my last time seeing you guys because you're in the DFW area, and I just thank you. I can't thank you enough for bringing your poetry out to the world.
No, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I haven't expressed myself on those levels in a minute. I haven't even been on a podcast in a minute. So I appreciate that. I tell you, I like to duck off, and this is the season of focusing on self and not overextending myself to a lot of things. So um, you can't find my poetry anywhere. um, right now. I only have a couple of little snippets and stuff posted on my Instagram, but I am Phoenix Sapphire 888 or Phoenix Sapphire on all platforms, which I'm not very big about social media, but I'm going to get better about, I like to do marketing. Like I could promote you, give you whole marketing strategies, and I'm a genius at it. I want it to be behind the scenes, but I do have a voice and I do have the perception that I want to share with the world. So I am opening myself up more to do that. So I will be seeing you, Miss Moore.
Yes, you will at an open mic, and you have a beautiful, beautiful voice, and your poetry is it's lovely, it's thought provoking, and you need to share it with the world. You have a talent.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes, and I
And
ditto that. Keep writing, keep sharing, and keep studying, researching, and doing your thing. Because I greatly enjoyed your pieces tonight as well.
Hey, thank you.
yes, 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 poets. Okay.
You guys can find me on socials at Sculpted Roses Company. And I also have a website, www.sculptedrosescompany.com, where I have my merch. And I also have my ebook on there as well. It's only $5. And um, yes, thank you so much for the space and the podcast. It was lovely. I'm so glad I got the opportunity to speak with both of you lovely ladies and just be vulnerable, real, and share some poetry. That's a very great night for me.
Same.
Yes, you have blessed us with your pieces. Like I said, you brought me to tears, and you keep speaking your voice too to the world in your
Right.
spirituality. And I will see you at the Doc open mic. And just for people who don't know, and aspiring authors, Sculpted Roses is a feature poet this month. And then I have Miss Phoenix Sapphire. She'll be coming up in Aspiring Authors magazine as a featured poet in May. So this is my plug for Miss Angela. Y'all need to pick up the Aspiring Authors magazine and look for the poetry section. It's called Fresh Ink. So thank you for all who watched. And until next time, see you. Bye.